collaborating partners, those of you who come from near and have come here from far. We are very grateful that you've taken the time out as we celebrate these men and women who are taking the next step to live life on a whole nother level. For those who may be new to Hope for Prisoners, I'll tell you who we are, what we do, and tell you some of the things that's brought us to this day. Hope for Prisoners works with men, women, and young adults that are exiting different arenas of our judicial system. So some of the people that we work with, they come home from state or federal prisons, city, county jails, drug rehabs, halfway houses, transitional facilities, and the likes. And what we do is we provide the supportive services to help the men and women returning back to our community, not only get acclimated back into workplaces, but we make sure there's mechanisms in place that once they get inside those workplaces, through partnerships that we built up with employers here in our local community, they're going to be afforded every opportunity to thrive and be able to grow, and afforded every opportunity to succeed. We address the needs for them to get acclimated back in their family, which has been a missed mark of reentry, which seems like for a lifetime. It's like we never given a particular close attention to the men and women that are coming home from our prison systems and trying to get acclimated back in the community. That is a huge, huge importance that we put an emphasis on them returning back to their family. The husbands returning back into their homes, and wives and moms returning back into their families, but particularly making sure there's a mechanism in place to help with the family reunification component. Because if that piece is not right, if the home life is not right, everybody in this room can attest to the fact that everything else in the world has a tendency to fall apart. Then on the back end of the process, because it's a long-term 18-month journey where we walk with our folks, wanting to do everything we possibly can to ensure that we're helping them to be stand-up leaders in our community with an overall goal of them never, ever, ever re-offending again. I have a big passion for what it is that I do because I'm a formerly incarcerated person myself. I've been coming in and out of the systems for decades, made a tremendous amount of mistakes trying to get life right. But God taught me very valuable lessons from all those mistakes that I made. And those lessons that I learned, they helped me to live life on a whole nother level. So what my passion in life is, the reason why I know that my God wakes me up every morning, is to help other men and women who are facing those same challenges that I once had to face, to do everything I possibly can to remove the barriers that's preventing them from being successful in life, and to help to escort them up to a new level of life. Right. So we founded Hope for Prisons back in 2009 when I first came home from prison. And since that time, we've had an opportunity to work with over 3,100 men and women have been through our process. And of those 3,100 men and women that we've had the privilege to work with, a massive amount of those individuals successful in gaining full-time employment. Full-time employment and sustainable wage jobs where they can take care of themselves and take care of their family. And it has a recidivism rate that is so ridiculously low that it's caused another reentry mechanisms across this country looking for us to replicate our model all across the United States of America. We could not do that without the unprecedented support that we have from many of you right here in the room. The local people, collaborating partners, the churches that we work very closely with, was the foundation of what it is that we do. All of the second chance employers that many of you are here in this room today, and our graduates are going to have an opportunity to walk away today with full-time, sustainable wage jobs. But our biggest collaborating partnership, if you take a look around to see where we are today, we are in the headquarters of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Our friends! And they are here today. We could not do that without the police department. I have to tell you, because you look at all the police officers here in the room, never before in the history of reentry, nowhere on this planet, has law enforcement gotten this involved in mentoring and training men and women who are coming home from our prison system. And that partnership is causing a win-win on both sides of the equation. Because if you think about it, if we're getting our men and women who are coming home from the prison system and we want them to get back out into the community and never reoffend again, number one, we have to instill in them appreciation for the rules and regulations of our community. And we have found that that gets enhanced when they are in a relationship with the men and women who uphold the law. It gives me an honor and a privilege to introduce you to our first speaker. It's a man that I had an opportunity to sit into a Starbucks 7, 8 years ago when we started having these conversations about what can law enforcement do to help men and women not go back to the prison system. And in that conversation, we talked about a myriad of different things. But the success of that, we could not even imagine that it would have been producing the intended effect that it's producing today. It gives me an honor and a privilege to introduce you to, from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Sheriff Kevin McMahill.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So I only have like 5 minutes to speak, so buckle up because I have a lot to say. Welcome, number one, on behalf of Sheriff Lombardo and the men and women of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, to our home. Thank you for being here, graduates. We also like to thank the President and our great Mayor of the City of Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman, for being here. Thank you very much. We can't forget why we're here, though. We're here for you, graduates. Congratulations to you on the first step of your journey. You're now part of the Hope for Prisoners family. You're part of something bigger than yourself. Many of you, this is probably the first time you've ever graduated from anything. This is the first step of a journey to becoming contributing members, proud members of our community, and giving back and taking those steps to take your life back. So congratulations to each and every one of you. The question always comes is, why does local cops have a role in prisoner reentry? That's a great question. I get it all from around the country, and I can tell you the first step was as I began to arrest the children of people I arrested as a very young patrol officer. And I knew that something had to be done to break that cycle. And John Ponder came into my life. I had met many other folks that had been working in the prisoner reentry programs, and to be very candid with you, they had not helped a single individual. And when John came before me and asked me if we would participate with him, I immediately thought, no. But you can't tell John Ponder no, can you? I think everybody in the room understands that. So we embarked on an unprecedented ask, which was, how do we get law enforcement to work with this population? And the reality of it was, for me, is to begin to understand something first and foremost. We had to move beyond you seeing me as a cop and me seeing you as a criminal. We had to get to a place where we saw one another as human beings first. I have never met a police officer that got into this line of work for any other reason that they wanted to help. That's what we're here to do, and we are here to make your lives better. So the first thing that we see amongst one another is human being to human being connectivity. That is part of the secret sauce of the Hope for Prisoners program. Let me just simply say this to you. When you look at the criminal justice system as a whole, we spend a couple of dollars on prevention efforts. We spend a tremendous amount of money on a crime being occurred, an investigation being conducted, probable cause being established, an arrest being made, a trial being conducted, a conviction being had, and then housing so many folks in incarceration. And what I can tell you is that my men and women face people all day long who have failed in other parts of the social justice system. Fatherless families, poverty, mental health, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, you name it, that becomes our customer. And what I figured out was incarceration fixes absolutely nothing. Incarceration fixes nothing. So rather than having not spent a single dollar invested in the human piece of allowing you to come home,